All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a video giving our thoughts first on some of the titles for our upcoming episodes for The Walking Dead Season 10 second half. Then we'll get into the possibility, some sort of rumored news right now that we may see some OG Walking Dead characters return, possibly in maybe spin-offs, one-shots, or TV specials, things like this. And then after that, we'll get into some of your guys' Q&A questions, starting with us giving our thoughts on a possible relationship between Rosita and Eugene. Alright dudes, so it is Sunday, which means it's Walking Dead Day, so I decided I would go ahead and do a video with you guys today. There's been lots of sort of new news for Walking Dead this week, after Gimple did a whole bunch of different interviews, kind of been combing through it and kind of giving our thoughts on some different things. So it's been good. I think we're pretty much getting to the end of all the different things that he had said in those interviews this week. And I did want to correct something in the last video, which is the Forbes date listed for Fear the Walking Dead Season 6's return said it was for August 11th, but a lot of people brought up in that video that, Trev, you know, that doesn't quite make sense, because August 11th would be that would be really late, and it's also not a Sunday. So I don't know, maybe they just got the date wrong for that one. But either way, it still stands that it sounds like we're going to see The Walking Dead Season 10 second half first, and then we're going to see Walking Dead World Beyond with 10 episodes, and then sometime after that they'll start Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 at some point. You know, will it be kind of a break after that, like, you know, 8, 10, so that's 18 weeks, and then sometime in late spring to early summer, we'll see Season 6 premiere too, something like that. Hopefully it is wrong, and we don't have to wait until August 11th for Season 6 to start for Fear, for people who are even going to watch it anyway. So there's that one. So we do have some titles for the second half of this season, apparently, that have been submitted. We do know that the mid-season premiere, which is episode 9, is called Squeeze. And we've done videos about that with regards to Jerry and maybe his inability to squeeze through some tight spots. Some people also called me out. They're like, Trevor's probably more like 300 pounds, which is probably true. He is a pretty, lots of cobbler, right? He is a pretty hefty fellow. So so it might be a little bit tricky for him to get into some tight spaces in that. So that's what the mid-season premiere is called. And then another episode is called Morning Star. So there's that. Now I don't know if it's episode 10, if it's the episode after Squeeze. It's one of the titles, Morning Star, and then there's Stalker, which is funny, which is kind of a funny name for an episode. So Squeeze, Morning Star, and Stalker, and then we have Walk With Us, which kind of sounds to me like maybe Whispers, and they're kind of having the dead walk with them. And man, you know, link will be in the description to comicbook.com. You guys can watch the trailer through again. It is a really awesome trailer for this back half of the season. Looks like it's going to have Whisper War in it. Looks like it's going to have the whole cave situation in it. Negan with the Whispers, Lydia somewhere in the middle, and then kind of picking up from where we left off with Gabriel, Rosita, Eugene, and the others that are still kind of back in the communities, or at least most of the ones I just named in Alexandria and Hilltop for Eugene. And at some point, Maggie's got to return by what, the end of this season, maybe the last couple episodes, something like that. I think they confirmed, right, that we'll see her in this back half, maybe in the last few episodes, and also Michonne leaving at some point around episode possibly 12 or something like that, but I don't think the name for that one has been titled as of yet. Unless one of those actually ends up being it. So we'll see Walk With Us and the others. And I did hear that supposedly she was only in like one more episode or something, but I don't think that's right, because based on what we've seen from the different previews and that, it sounds like Michonne will probably be, or at least it looks like she'll probably still be in a few more episodes. But I think episode 12 is sort of rumored right now to possibly be Michonne's last episode. So that'd be 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that means that this quarter of the season coming up, or the third quarter, will be kind of Michonne's last, and then the cave stuff, and then we'll probably see the war kind of start off at some point around there, and then probably the end of the war in some degree by the end of the season. Maybe Maggie will come in with a whole bunch of people from Commonwealth, and they'll rescue the others or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. There is another one of Chandler Riggs. Look at me in the description. He has now had a snowboarding accident. I don't know if people comicbook.com's making a fuss about this, about him having another fall when he's snowboarding and stuff, and I think he's wearing a helmet, right? So, so I don't know. You can watch it, the wasted stuff like this. I don't know. Chandler gets attention whenever he falls down, whether it be falling off a horse, getting a concussion, falling off a snowboard. I don't know. Pretty much I think we're all saying just, Chandler, stay in the house, brother. No extreme sports or things where you can injure the old noggin. Come on, you got to take care of this thing right here, right? That's your money maker, right? You're going to make more money above the head than down, right? So you got to use this thing here. You need it to be in at least moderate working order, and bashing it over and over again and falling off things is not a good call, man. Come on, do your thing, man. But have some fun, but take care of this right here. Take care of this right here, Chandler. So there's that. But then there was one, too, where based on what Gimple had said in the interview that, we could be seeing some different projects. So it says, and Chandler reacted to this one with some eyes. And he said, when reacting to Gimple stating, the Walking Dead universe plans to re-examine characters that we've lost. So it sounds like maybe it piqued his interest, or that maybe he'd be interested in doing that. What do you guys think about this kind of whole concept of them bringing back characters for specials or one-shots, or like maybe not mini series, but maybe just like an episode or a TV movie or something like this for some of the characters that we've lost, be it like Carl, Glenn, Abraham, any of the others in which there was like missing time or a gap in time? Would you be interested to see them bring some of these, our fallen comrades back for these specials, or is that something that you really don't give a shit about? So I'm kind of in the middle on it. I mean, it's just a really tricky question of if you're going to do any of these kind of specials or any of these things, like he said here. I'm trying to get together a number of different things that we can show at different times during the year, and this focuses on characters we miss and lost, or characters we missed and we lost. So Gimple said that to Entertainment Weekly about, so it says, describing these standalone projects as, quote, little zombie tales that happen in our world with our rules and our timeline, but are just really great zombie stories, really great stories of the end of the world. So yeah, this one is tricky because if you're going to do it, I mean, there are a number of time skips in the Walking Dead universe, right, where you could do stuff like this. With certain ones, would I like to see maybe a special with Carl or something like that? That could be cool, but it brings in some, it does bring in some questions. How do you do it, right? How do you bring back Carl for like a movie or special or something and not have Andrew Lincoln as Rick be there, or the others? Like, when was there a time where he was kind of off on his own that you could do some kind of story with him that fits? When is there a time? So that's for him. What about someone like, and I guess they could pick different people. Like, you could use someone like Glenn, and maybe do like some kind of origin thing. But it's a bit tricky because, they look older now than during these certain times of the series. Like, if you did one with Glenn, let's say, because Glenn, of course, was in and around Atlanta. Rick kind of comes through there, and he was a pizza delivery boy, so you had this whole thing before you met Maggie and before all that. So if you want to go way back, maybe you could do like something with that, just as the onset of the zombie apocalypse was happening, and kind of his origin or something like that. I actually would like to see something like that for like Glenn, because I think he has a lot of charisma and everything, and people love him. Abraham's another one that's in the picture there that they could probably do something with, because there's some lost time in there. Maybe you get Eugene to come back as part of that. Rosita is part of that too, and you do something with them in between some of the time gaps there. So it's tricky to see. I do want to see at some point Chandler Riggs reprise his role as Carl, whether it be in the Rick movies or Hallucination for somebody or something. I'd hate to think that they're never going to have him back again to do it, but then again, the years pass and he does look older. He does age, right? So, there was the one they did in, what was it, season 8 during his last season, where they showed like Rick and a younger Carl when he's just a boy, and obviously they had to use someone different for that than Chandler because he's grown now. So it's just kind of tricky on how they could do it. I guess I'm intrigued by the idea. I'm interested in it, but then again, it's sort of like he's saying here, great zombie stories that can kind of stand on their own. The problem with it is we know how those stories end for all those different characters. We know Abraham's end, with Negan, brutally. He did get, at least he got a last word and told him to suck his nuts and everything. But Glenn, like some of the others too. So I guess I'm sort of in the middle on this one. You know, I will watch it. As you guys know, hardcore Walking Dead fan will watch just about anything they do with Walking Dead. At least give it a try. But at the same time, does it make you sad? Would you want to watch it? Or because you know their fate later on, is that something where you would say, you know, no, I'm not interested? Or because they've aged so much over the years, like a young Stephen Yeun, I don't know how you can make him look young enough to play at the beginning in now's time frame. Maybe he'd have to, you know, go on a huge diet and starve himself or something to get himself looking younger so that he could do something like that. So I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I guess it could kind of be cool because you'd get to see those that are gone again, at least in some kind of way. They could kind of be the star of it. You know how things go for them. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in seeing some of those missing gaps for some of the different important characters that have already been killed off in the series? Or is that something to where you just say, like, what's the point? You know how their story's going to end eventually. Does it really matter to see some kind of, just certain part of the zombie apocalypse when you know eventually how it ends for them anyway, and it's unnecessary? Leave your comments about that one below. And then we got a good one to start with the Q&As for today. You guys can keep sending me your questions, by the way, and we'll, you know, as we do the Dead Update videos and that, we'll include some of the good ones. Bone asked this one. He said, Trev, I asked before, can we please discuss a bit more the Rosita and Gabe relationship, as it's weird. Also, they don't even act lovey-dovey. So that's true. And if you guys haven't seen the last part of the trailer at the end, I'm sure you've all seen it now, but the last part at the end of the trailer, you can see that it looks like Rosita and Eugene are going to hook up. So, now that Sadiq is kind of out of the way, so she's constantly got a couple dudes here. He loses one, I'm going to replace one with another. So we're going to discuss this. Okay, so I liked what they did in the mid-season finale with Gabriel, because what they did is, so you have Gabriel, you have Rosita, you have Sadiq, and then, you know, he cares for Sadiq, so I guess it gets some kind of a pass in this kind of way, or whatever's going on here with Rosita, right? But when Dante kills him, he can't handle that, so he allows his aggression to come out, and he attacks Dante and kills him brutally, right? And everything like that. We've all seen it. It's an awesome scene. One of my favorite, well, probably, yeah, like my favorite of the season, or one of them. Like, I like the Whisperer turn for Dante as well. But, you know, to see Gabriel actually get, you know, to unleash on him was really cool. All his rage and frustration, because that's got to frustrate you too when you have these, you know, it's like you're saying this person and this person too. So Rosita, right, as some people call her online. And then we have Eugene coming. So they have a weird relationship going where they're sort of, okay, so they sort of are. But then you've got Sadiq over here, and then you've got Eugene over here too. So I don't know, right? This is a weird case, right? When you have things like this. So I guess for Eugene, am I kind of happy for him? I don't know. There was the scenes, if you guys remember, back in like season 5. You want to talk like flashbacks and Abraham and bringing back dead characters and stuff. That group, that threesome. They had spent time together that we didn't see, and so there's the scene, is it in a library or whatever they're in, where you have Abraham, Rosita, and then you have Eugene who's watching, right? So he's voyeuring. It's just really, really weird. Some dudes like to do this. I don't know how I feel about it. It's very strange. So you got him, he's doing this with Rosita, and so I guess they let him watch or whatever. So it's whatever. Okay, so after all these years, I guess it sounds like finally he's got it in with Rosita after whatever. Maybe is it a pity screw or something like this? Okay, maybe I don't know. But it's quite the weird situation you have going on there. So Bone, if you're coming to me looking for answers for that, I don't have them for you. It's weird. I guess maybe you could say if you know, he's just a friend, that's fine. Like if Eugene's just friends with Rosita, that's fine. But the Gabriel relationship with her should be fine by itself. I don't see why you need to add in another, but maybe, you know, add in Eugene as well too here. But possibly you could look at it as maybe she's getting something from Eugene that she's not getting from Gabriel. Maybe Gabriel is kind of closed off, or he's kind of cold, or he's not quite that communicative in this whole kind of thing. So something like that. But it is strange to see these guys, like, you know, these beta orbiting guys just orbiting around Rosita, waiting for their chance, waiting for their time. I find it to be kind of despicable, as I've said before, and kind of disgusting in sort of a beta male type of way. But I guess what can you do if you're a guy like that? Then that's what you just, I guess sometimes you have to do that. I don't know. You know. I don't know. That's all I got for that. That's all best I can do for you for that one, Bone. You guys can leave your comments below on what you think about that whole mess of a situation. And Jack Goldberg will have the last one for us today. He says, "Oh Christ, if we get an older Judith ending similar to the comics, I'll feel cheated. I don't want the fans determining the ending. I want the story to determine the ending." Like Trev's favorite character once said, "Oh yeah, right. Daryl will be the last man standing." At least it sounds like. It isn't even on the radar right now, actually. Yeah, so that's after the video where Gimple talked about the possibility of ending The Walking Dead, when we were looking to see that happening and how that whole thing would go down. It probably will be different. I don't think Gimple would make it too obvious for us. It probably will be different than the comics, at least in some ways. It's not a bad prediction, though, that Judith would be the one at the end that you see. But you don't know how long it's going to go on for. If the report is totally bogus at season 12 or 13, or like the last kind of around there is where they'll likely wrap it up. If that's totally bogus, it could be even past that, and then maybe they've set up, because there was a discussion between Carol and Daryl that they might go to, did they say New Mexico or something like that? So is it possible in season 12 we could see them do that, and they're setting that up now for down the road for them to kind of leave so they don't have to kill them off and the story can continue? And then you have Judith and you have the others, and you're going to have others that they're going to bring in as well too before that time happens. So who knows how the very end of the series will actually be, and what will happen with that. I actually don't. I appreciate what Gimple's doing, but I don't envy him, because I think there's all these different things happening all around. He's trying to do this movie stuff, and he's trying to coordinate all these different series to somehow fit together with the characters and somehow kind of work itself out. And maybe you have some that might be interested to do some things, and others that decide, oh, I'm just going to move on and get another role somewhere else or do something like that instead. Like the actor who plays Heath, for example. So it sounds like it's quite the mess. I guess it's better than them killing Rick off, but he also did confirm that eventually Andrew Lincoln was leaving. Sooner or later, that was going to happen, whether they killed him off or not. Andrew Lincoln wanted out 100%. And so I guess I'm glad he agreed to do the movies. It's what it is, but we'll have to see what that ending scene actually, the last scene of Walking Dead ends up actually being. I'd be okay if it was Daryl. I'd be okay also if it was maybe something with Judith, but you wouldn't want to do it exactly the same as the comics. That's true, because then it might be a little bit too predictable or too obvious, and I'm sure they won't make it that obvious, or if they do, then they'll do it for the right reasons. That'll be it for this video today, guys. Leave me more questions for the Q&As in the future. Let me know what you guys think about the Rosita situation. Let me know what you think about seeing Walking Dead specials. Is that something you're interested in? And the titles for the second half of the season. Thumb up the video, share, favorite it, and that's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace there, guys. See you soon.